Welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms Podcast, where your hosts, Tina and Colleen, talk about all things travel. From theme parks to cruises to all-inclusive resorts and more, they cover news, tricks, and insider tips to inspire your travel dreams. They love to travel and want you to love it too. Find out their best-kept secrets and learn how to make your next vacation extra magical, right here on the Magical Traveling Moms Podcast.
Welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms Podcast. My name is Tina, and I am joined by my wonderful and fabulous co-host, Miss Colleen from down in South Carolina today. And today, we are talking Walt Disney World tours and how to get VIP access. But before we get to that, we want to take a moment and thank the wonderful sponsors of our show, Mystical Dream Travel. Mystical Dream Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner that specializes in Walt Disney World and other Disney destinations. Ready to plan your Walt Disney World vacation? Be sure to reach out to the fabulous agent over at Mystical Dream Travel. You can check them out at mysticaldreamtravel.com or check them out on social media. Hey, Colleen, how are you today?
I am great, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. I'm freezing here in Pittsburgh. It's 13 degrees today. Woohoo!
It's not super warm here today, but I mean, when I got up, it was 25, but I'm sure it's warmer now because the sun is out. But
yeah, you're warmer than we are.
So. It's going to be warmer than you, though.
Yes. So anyway, today I thought we would talk about how to get VIP access to Walt Disney World. A lot of things that people may not know about that you can do to enhance your vacation.
How exciting.
Yes, I'm ready. So let's talk about this. So a lot of people don't realize that Walt Disney World offers, and Disneyland does the same thing as well, but they offer tours that actually give you VIP access and help you actually maximize your vacation and get the most out of it by having these really unique, different experiences. So they are perfect for any kind of, maybe you want to enhance your vacation, or you're celebrating a special and you want to add something special and you want to add to it. Or maybe, heck, you just want a VIP tour. Who doesn't want a VIP tour, right?
I love the tours because it combines like two amazing experiences, I think. You get that backstage insider access, and then you also get some pretty awesome perks that are kind of worth it all on their own.
Yes, absolutely. So there are a ton of VIP tours or tour options at Walt Disney World, and we're going to only touch on a few of them today. Some are currently coming back starting in February, and some are still not quite up and running just yet, but hopefully they will be soon. But this one I actually just learned about because I haven't really looked at VIP tours in a while, but it's the special 50th anniversary tour. Who doesn't want that? So it is a Disney World put together a signature VIP tour experience. This one is only available for 6 people in your party. So some of these tours are limited to a certain amount of people that you can have. So you have a maximum amount of people.
Like that's a small group. That
is a small group.
I mean, if you're a family of 4 or 5, that's basically a private tour.
I know. So in this tour, you get to visit a select few attractions and discover some behind the scenes secrets. So if you're really into Disney and you want to know the secrets, this is probably a great tour to take. And it's going to have some special 50th things to it, and you'll travel back in time and see Walt's passion and how things were, what inspired him. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
Fun. I wonder if it's going to be like, since it's for the 50th, it's going to be more like the classic rides, like the ones that were there when it opened, and like all like the history. I love that stuff. All the history behind the building of Magic Kingdom.
I agree. I think that would be amazing. But you also get a sneak peek at some new experiences coming to Walt Disney World. I mean, come on.
Like Tron? Do you think they get to see do you go into the Tron thing? Do you think?
I don't know. It doesn't say specifically. It's like, it doesn't tell you. It's not going to give you everything. It's not going to give you the secrets out. So that would be amazing. It would be amazing.
But it's at Magic Kingdom, right? So
it is at the Magic Kingdom. So you're going.
I bet you get to find out something about Tron. Oh, now I want to go do it.
And you get you get a tour inside Cinderella's castle. Hello, I want to do that.
Suite? Do you get to go into the royal suite? Do you think?
Yes, you get to go into the suite.
Okay. Well, that's it. We have to go do this tour.
I know. And then next, you go to Epcot. This one also goes to Epcot. Ooh. So, yes.
Then maybe you go into the Guardians of the Galaxy building.
Yes, and you get to go to the Space 220 restaurant.
Stop it.
Yes.
All right, yes. Tina, I think we owe it.
We got to figure out.
It to our listeners.
Yes. To do this tour.
And then report on it.
I agree.
Just saying, throwing that out there. That I think.
Yeah, I think we might need to look into that.
It's our duty.
Yeah, it's our obligation to do it for our listeners. Absolutely. I think this would be amazing. And of course, this tour is a limited time because it's exclusively for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. So I would assume at Disney, everything is celebrated for 18 months. So I would think that this would go up until...
you only have until October to do this. That's it.
Yeah, only till October. So so it is a very limited time. So we need to get on that.
And you get lunch at Be Our Guest.
Yes, I know. Isn't it crazy?
So listen. Can we talk about, you get to history, you get to see behind the scenes stuff, you get to find out all kinds of fun stuff about building Magic Kingdom. You get to go to lunch at Be Our Guest, tour Cinderella. I mean, just touring the suite, all in itself, like literally just touring the suite was enough for me to want to do this. But then you go to Epcot, and you get to go to Space 220, and you get to ride Remy's.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't know. That's it. I'm done. Where do I sign? I don't even need to know about any of the other VIP tours.
We don't need to. I know this one sounds truly amazing. I mean, it would be hard. This one, it doesn't have a cost to it, so it didn't. This is one of the ones that you have to call to find out the cost.
Okay, that part kind of scares me, but I'm telling you, we owe it to our listeners to look into this and to go and have the experience and then report on it.
You don't have to tell me, so we'll look at it. We'll look at it and we'll report back if we decide to do it. So so the next tour is another Ultimate Walt Disney World tour, and it is a private VIP tour. This one allows you to go up to 10 guests at Disney World, and allows you to get that additional perks here with this one. This one is a minimum 7 hours tour, and it can range anywhere from $325 an hour up to about $700 to $800 an hour, depending on the time of year. So a minimum 7. So you complete
an hour times 7 hours.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Yes. But you get a private VIP tour guide with you the entire time, and you get.
Cool.
What's that?
I said I've seen them in the parks. They're cool.
Yes, with their vests. Their plaid vest. And then with this one, you have Lightning Lane access. Everything is Lightning Lane access, so it's VIP all the way. They'll get you some water. They'll get you this. So the key to this one, I think, is really just, if you're going to do it, is really just planning it out the right way. Now, you can do it to where you go to all 4 parks in one day. You can go to 2 parks in one day, or you can stay at 1 park all day, and the VIP tour guide will pick you up. I do recommend for this one, a lot of people will ask them to pick them up at their resort, and I recommend not doing that because that starts. So when he picks you up at the resort, That's hour one that starts. So maximize the tour by meeting them, your VIP tour guide, inside the park.
Oh, that is a good tip. I did not know the clock starts when he picks you up. So
yes, absolutely. So maximize that. And another good tip, if you're doing 7 hours and let's say you want to see Harmonious, that you want to go see Harmonious or the show over at Magic Kingdom, what I would do is maximize your time with him, start later in the day, and then when it gets close time for the fireworks, he sets you up in the ideal spot. Your VIP tour guide sets you up. So
I want to do that at Magic Kingdom to see Enchantment, just because it's so hard to get a good spot.
It is hard. Well, you can always do the dessert parties there too.
Yeah, if you're not going to do the dessert party though, like it's hard to get a good spot with it, and you got to go line up like 2 hours in advance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the VIP guide also is a knowledge of information. So he will give you a lot of information about the attractions and Walt Disney World, and they're really just there to enhance your experience at Walt Disney World and just to make it as easy, as convenient as possible. It's a great way to really just maximize your time in the parks. And while it is pricey, but here's a good tip. If you want to splurge on a VIP tour, but it's not necessary within your full vacation budget for that year, instead of staying maybe at a deluxe or a moderate resort, stay at a value resort and then enhance your vacation with the VIP tour guide.
Right. No, that's a really good tip. Yeah, because the money you save by going with the value, you can use towards that. Plus, if you can have up to 10 people, I wonder how hard it is to like combine with other groups or get other people to do it with you, and so that you
would have to have it your own group. So you couldn't.
It does have to be your own group.
Yes, your own group. So
I'm just wondering, like, are there people out there that like try to find others to like combine with them or not, or maybe they don't care. I don't know.
Just if you're going with family and friends, you could. You know what I mean?
Big group. Yeah.
Really good. So
that's fun.
That's on my bucket list.
I know. I was like, that sounds like the ultimate, like once in a lifetime, like any crazy Disney fan like us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Once, but I don't know. It'd be hard to pick just one park, but at the same time, like I'm thinking you do all 4 parks, the time in between parks,
you're wasting time going back, because that's a cost, that eats into your 7 hours.
Of course, like that's going to count towards your time. So
now keep in mind it's a minimum 7 hours, so you can always
always do for longer. I mean,
you do like if you're going to do a 12-hour day at Disney.
Go big or go home. Okay,
right? Exactly. That's our motto here.
As well.
Yes. So there are other tours that Walt Disney World offers that are not as quite high end as these two.
Yeah.
However,
those are like the creme de la creme of tours.
Yeah, absolutely. I went for the big ones first. So normally we work our way the opposite way.
And this time we were like, woohoo! Look at all this. Oh, wait, there's other stuff you could do too.
But there are other tours that Walt Disney World does offer that really can enhance your experience and give you kind of a behind the scenes look and make it a lot of fun. Now, there have been other VIP tours in the past, before I move on real quick, that are like shorter amounts of time, but they're not operating right now. You used to have one that was just like all the classics. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 hours and, not as expensive. And, but so let's dive into some other things that they have. So one that I personally did a couple years ago was Disney's Keys to the Kingdom tour. It is a backstage tour of the Magic Kingdom. Not everything, of course. It's very, it's selected. It starts out on Main Street, and you walk down Main Street and you learn all about the windows. So a lot of people don't look up and look at the windows. The windows on Main Street, as you look up, have a lot of meaning to them. And so we learned about the firehouse there, and we walked through that. And then we got to go behind Splash Mountain. which was amazing. And we got to see all the floats for the parade, which we loved up close and personal, which was really very cool.
To see like where the parade it hangs out, but before it's going to come.
Yes. And they at the time they were getting ready for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Parade, the Christmas parade there, and those floats were out, so we got to see those as well as the Festival of the Fantasy float. So it was truly amazing. And then you kind of walk through Frontierland while you stop and you have lunch. So this one does include lunch, and so sometimes it changes between Harbor House and Pecosville. For this one, we did Pecosville. And then we walked through Frontierland, learned a lot about that, spent a lot of time in Liberty Square, and got a history lesson on the Haunted Mansion, which was fun. And we got to ride. There were a couple of attractions we did get to ride. We got to ride the Jungle Cruise, and we got like a history lesson of there as well. And then we got to ride the Haunted Mansion, and we went through like a back door entrance, which was really cool. And so the big highlight to this tour actually is the Utilidors.
I know. So, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
It was just amazing, and now I know where you go into them, so that was always fun.
Cool.
Every time I walk past, I'm like, that's where you go in. I went there.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it was very neat. It's a very different experience. I'm not going to give it away, but I will say this one used to have an age, so 16 and older. A lot of these tours, backstage tours, do have like a teens and tweens age because they don't want to take away the magic.
Right.
The little ones, because it really does change your perspective of what you're seeing. So I don't want to give it away, but
you're so nice about it.
Yes, but I would imagine that you would take this tour, like you could probably take it 20 times and it would be different every time, because the tour guide that you have, the VIP tour guide, is going to be different. And so they're going to have different stories and different things. And it was really fascinating. And I really would totally do it again. This one does run about 5 hours. And it is walking, so it involves a lot of walking. Most of the tours do. And it runs about $114 a person. But it does include lunch. So
yeah, that's not bad.
No, not at all.
A lot of stuff, and it sounds like an amazing experience that's not a bad price.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's also, so I'm going to move over to a resort. So a lot of times people don't realize that you can actually do some of the resorts offer like a backstage tour. So Wilderness has a back trail tour.
Really?
Wilderness Lodge, yes. And you can experience nature in a high-tech way and explore Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort beyond on a Segway. Yeah, and it's $90 a person.
Ooh, I've never ridden on a Segway. I'm sort of afraid that I will fall.
I would hope that. I would think they would give you some lessons beforehand, but yeah.
I'm sure they do, but that's really fun.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun? That would just be very different. So I know that Animal Kingdom Lodge has something similar as well. So yeah, behind the scenes. But then there's also, speaking of Animal Kingdom, there are tours that you actually can do over at Animal Kingdom that are very popular, where you can get up close with the elephants and different things like that. But they have a tour located in the Africa area of Animal Kingdom, and it's a safari up close and really up close with the animals. It is a guided tour of a safari. It runs about $199 a person. That does not include the tax. But if you are an animal lover, this would be probably the perfect tour to check out.
I've always thought the private tours that they offered at Animal Kingdom sounded so amazing, because the Kilimanjaro Safari is amazing all in itself. But I've been on it before, where you've seen the people on a tour like way up on like a hanging bridge, like walking
Yes.
over the crocodile pit or whatever. And you're like,
Yes.
that's so cool. And then
Yes.
I know there's on one of the tours, and I don't know if they're offering this one right now, but they have the pavilion like out in the savannah, and I know they'll do like lunch. Like you get to have like this lunch in this pavilion, covered pavilion, like in the middle of the savannah where all the giraffe are and the zebras, and that just sounds so cool.
I agree. I think that would be an amazing experience to be able to be up that close and personal with the animals, to learn about them, and how they care for them. And they do have another tour called Caring for the animals that you can do as well. And that's like a smaller, it's about a 3 or 4 hour tour. So
yeah, and that one I think they go more like over in Rafiki's Planet Watch, where they have like the hospital and where they care.
Yes.
And yeah, it's amazing what is really going on at Animal Kingdom. And I think that if you just go to the theme park and you ride the rides and you look, you don't necessarily realize what's actually really going on there behind the scenes. It is, I mean, people will say, isn't Animal Kingdom just a zoo? And I'm like, well, I mean, it is, but it is. Like, they care for these animals. They're rehabilitating them. They're doing conservation efforts. It's amazing what they have going on, like, behind the scenes at Animal Kingdom.
I agree. We've often done where you could, over by the gorillas, you can walk through and stopped and talked to the cast members about the work that they're doing. And it's very interesting and really fascinating. And I think the one time we spent like 45 minutes just talking to the cast member about all of the things that they're doing and about the animals and how they care for them. And I really encourage you to take the time to do that, even outside of the tours, because like you said, there's so much more than just the attractions and the rides. Now, Animal Kingdom used to have, it's not up and running right now, but where it was like I think it was like a 4-hour tour where you hit like certain attractions within like a 4-hour time span at Animal Kingdom. Right. So a lot of the parks have their own individual tours. But right now, like at the time of recording this, they're not all up and running, but some are coming back in February. But over at Epcot actually has a lot of tours that you can do. You can actually scuba dive.
I know. And the Seas Pavilion, that is so cool.
Yes. And I think that's a very cool. I've had a client do it several years ago, and they absolutely loved it. They said it was amazing. And so if you're ever eating at the Coral Reef, a lot of times they're scuba diving and they're coming down and you can wave to them. Yes, it's a lot of fun. But they have one, even though it's closed right now, but I thought I would bring it up. It's called Behind the Seeds.
Yes.
So if you're really into gardening, so if you've ever done, the Living with the Land tour, they talk about the Behind the Seeds at the end of the ride, at the end of the attraction, where you could, to do more. But they take you behind the scenes of all the wonderful things that they're doing when it comes to growing. So a lot of people don't realize that Disney does grow and serve a lot of their own vegetables and fruits and fish and things like that. So there's a lot of farm to the table dining there. So that's interesting. I do not have a green thumb to save my life, but I would find it interesting. I think it would be very interesting because I really do like that ride. I love to look at flowers. I love to look at plants. I just can't grow them.
It's one of my favorite things to do in Epcot, is to go on Living with the Land. And always, like, even when I was a kid, I loved that ride. But I think it's so fascinating and interesting to learn about how they grow all this food to support the parks, to support the restaurants in the parks, and just everything that's behind the scenes, the operations and things that go into running Walt Disney World is just, it's amazing, and I also do not have a green thumb, but I would totally do this tour just because I think
I know. And they even give you like things at the end, like tips and stuff at the end that you could take home with you for your own garden.
Maybe we could be better gardeners.
Maybe we could. I don't know.
About I moved to Florida and I work for Disney. I bet I would be a good gardener there.
Yes. There you go. Because you would have somebody right beside you, like teaching you.
Right. Yeah.
But is there anything? I'm a little curious. Is there anything that you wouldn't want to see behind the scenes? That you wouldn't want to know how it works?
I don't think so.
You want to know it all.
I love to know that stuff. It wouldn't ruin the magic for me. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, some people are like, I'd rather not know because it'll ruin the magic for me. But I don't think it would for me. I think I would really enjoy. I'm always fascinated about like how something works or what goes on behind the scenes. And, you know, I one time I had to be escorted off of Test Track, right? Because it broke down. And it broke down like right before we were supposed to go outside and do like test. And they turned all the lights on and we had to cast members came and got us out of the cars and escorted us like through the ride and like out some door and down the staircase and and that was honestly like the highlight of my day was getting to walk through the ride with the lights on. I was like so like, oh my gosh. And they might have yelled at me because I took a video. And that was like a no-no, I guess, to take a video. They were like,
yeah, so that's the thing. When you do any of the behind-the-scenes tours, you are not allowed to take photos. No cameras, no pictures, no video. And I can understand that because they want to preserve the magic and everything like that. But it's definitely interesting. But for me, I don't think my favorite attraction is Peter Pan. And I don't think I would want to see that with the lights on.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. There are probably some rides that are not going to be that interesting, like you wouldn't want to know, like with the lights on. But But for the most part, I think it would be cool to see behind the scenes at a lot of the rides and how they work and what how you get into. I want to see the utilidors for sure, or go to Cinderella's castle. Like I definitely want to do that too.
Yeah, those are, the utilidors I can check off. I did that one. And although I would go again. Now, my husband is one who does not want to, which I was kind of surprised because he's really into liking to know how things work. But he's like, I don't want my magic to be ruined by seeing all that because that's all part of it. And I'm like, I can understand that. But I truly, I think it's any Disney person, it's like a highlight, to see that.
Yeah. Anybody who loves, the history behind Disney World and, all the history and how Disney came about and Walt Disney and the company, they're going to want to know that kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly. But the Cinderella, the Suite at Cinderella Castle, that is on my list.
That all by itself, like I would pay to just go and see that. So I feel like we absolutely have to investigate that particular tour and see like what, how expensive is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Can we get in? So anyway, so there are so many amazing tours at Walt Disney World, and there truly is something for everybody, whether you're a garden lover, you want to scuba dive, or you want to see behind the scenes, or you want exclusive VIP access to all of the attractions. There is definitely some tour there to enhance your vacation and your experience at Walt Disney World to make it extra magical. I'm sure we will be talking about tours coming up. And if Colleen and I ever get access to the 50th one, we will definitely talk about that on our podcast for sure. You can bet we'll be sharing that one. But anyway, thank you for joining us today. And be sure to give us a like, a follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And until next time, may all of your vacations be extra magical.